This was not the first 30 years later sequel, and it certainly won't be the last. But this may be the first one to outshine its predecessor. Hey everybody, Alex here for Nerdy Inc., coming at you with a review of Blade Runner 2049. Ryan Gosling kind of teams up with Harrison Ford to deliver a story that expands and deepens the mythology of the first film. Helmed by a rival mastermind, Denis Villenueve, this film surpasses the original terms in both story and technical mastery. I should say up top that this is coming from someone who only thinks the first film is good. While visually stunning and thematically interesting, the original is marred by uneven pacing and, depending on which cut you're watching, a distracting and half-hearted voiceover. Blade Runner 2049 is a far more confident film. With a commitment to striking visual storytelling and an overall trust in the audience's ability to follow the story, 2049 is so auteuristic that it may be inaccessible to someone unfamiliar with the Blade Runner universe and its stylization. In the hours following my seeing this film, I couldn't help but think of the similarities between this and Alien Covenant. Both sequels to Ridley Scott films feature stories of artificial intelligence and the meaning behind their creation, with religious undertones pervading through the entire film. The Christ-like metaphors in 2049 are far more appropriate for the film and, well, they're more competent. The thematic elements of the film actually serve to deepen the lore first introduced in the first film. The original Blade Runner asks, what does it mean to be a human? 2049 asks, what does it mean for us to be human? The macroization of ideas may seem to just be a surface-level expansion, but in reality there's a lot more going on when you stop to think about it. Yes, it's still a very slow film that forces you to soak in the atmosphere, but it's far more thematically relevant than in the first movie. The story is far more interesting and therefore justifies the amount of time we spend taking in the world. And there's one last thing I want to hit on before I wrap this up. Here in 2017, there's not a lot that can really surprise us with special effects. Yeah, computers, CGI, green screen. This was one of the first movies in years where the special effects had me in awe, wondering just how they did what they did. 2049 even takes one bold move that puts another recent blockbuster to shame. All in all, Blade Runner 2049 is one of the best sequels I've ever seen. Coming 3 decades after the original, the filmmakers show there's no world undeserving of a revisitation, so long as you actually have something to say and are confident in how you say it. While it may not be for everyone, it's definitely the sequel that every Blade Runner fan deserves. Oh, and Hollywood, stop complaining about the Rotten Tomatoes effect, because obviously it's not helping this movie.